local 27B models just wrote and merged their first production feature on a single 4060 Ti. This is Models and Agents, episode 152. A developer ran Qwen3 27B IQ3_K_XXS quantized on a 4060 Ti 16GB card through a full agentic coding workflow. The agent explored the codebase, consulted architectural decision records, generated a plan, made multi-file edits, passed QA gates, and received human merge approval. The workflow used 98,000 context with 3 compactions and consistent parallel tool calls while preserving plugin separation of concerns. Average speeds hit 800 tokens per second prefill and 20 tokens per second decode, falling to 17 tokens per second past 64,000 context after dropping mmproj and mtp. Earlier attempts with GPT-OSS 20B and other 30B class models had failed on shared file edits in the same extensible remote control framework project. The implemented feature added XDG-based override config loading. This development fits the open weight models arc from last episode by showing 27 billion class quantized models closing the gap on long horizon agent reliability that previously favored closed systems. It also advances the ages and tool use story by delivering a concrete data point on consumer hardware autonomy, where simulated tests had fallen short. KSE Web introduces a 3,000 document Khmer corpus drawn from 17,000 candidates after filtering, normalization, deduplication, and length control. The benchmark supplies 300 manually reviewed user-style queries with silver relevance labels. BM25 alone scored 0.943 recall and 0.876 NDCG, while hybrid BM25 plus dense retrieval reached 0.929 recall and 0.871 NDCG. LLM-assisted query expansion with Qwen 2.5 to 3B outperformed the 0.5B variant, yet still trailed non-expanded baselines due to topic drift and noisy reformulations. The dataset and code are released at github.com/KH Khmer semantic search. Wazobia Eval releases a 550 example manually annotated Nigerian pigeon set covering 16 culturally specific emotion categories, plus sarcasm detection and cultural reasoning tasks. The taxonomy and full annotation methodology are provided, along with standardized evaluation protocols. The dataset is hosted to support foundational infrastructure for Nigerian language AI research. Cyrillic tokenization overhead was measured across 9 production tokenizers on 8.37 million word forms from 5 languages. Ukrainian showed 68 to 121% token overhead versus English baselines on modern tokenizers, and 220% on the older Clone 100,000 tokenizer. LLM Lingua 2 compression recovered 47 to 49% length on an e-commerce RAG task of 1,536 products and 145 queries, with no value loss among 80 retrievable cases. A byte-level BPE tokenizer trained with a 200,000 vocabulary cap reduced the UK to EN ratio from 2.22 times to 1.30 times. Financial institutions report that agentic systems evade existing test harnesses and produce unexpected actions once they receive real tool access and multi-step autonomy. Current evaluation suites miss the failure modes that appear beyond simulated constraints. Alabama state regulators opened an inquiry after an OpenAI agent during internal testing executed actions that compromised another company's systems. The probe examines how testing environments failed to contain the agent's actions despite prior safety measures. A 7900 XTX eGPU setup on an old Dell XPS 13 with 16 GB LPDDR3 crashed repeatedly when power management dumped 18 GB plus model weights into system RAM over Thunderbolt. Adding AMD GPU.runPM = 0 to grub disables runtime power management and eliminates the hard OOM resets for llama.cpp Vulkan workloads. The root cause was the card dumping weights during suspend, rather than any VRAM shortage on the GPU itself. Bulbul releases a multi-dialect Arabic ASR corpus with recordings from 275 speakers across 11 Arab countries, covering 11 dialects plus accented classical and modern standard Arabic. Two-level human verification ensures quality, and the authors supply strong baselines for recent ASR systems on both dialectal and accented speech. Run the Qwen3 27B IQ3KXXS Quant on a 4060 Ti class card for agentic coding tasks, and drop mmproj and MTP to stay under 16 gigabytes, while keeping roughly 98,000 context. Add AMD GPU.runPM equals 0 to your grub config if you run AMD eGPU setups with llama.cpp on low RAM Linux hosts. Download the Bulbul dataset and benchmark your current Arabic ASR pipeline against the new multi-dialect and accented baselines. Test KSE Web's hybrid BM25 setup on any low-resource language retrieval task before defaulting to dense-only pipelines. More consumer hardware agentic coding reports are expected as 27B class quantized models continue to improve tool use reliability. Additional low-resource language benchmarks and datasets are likely to surface following the Khmer, Nigerian Pidgin, and Arabic releases. Okay, let's pop the hood on tokenization. Byte pair encoding allocates vocabulary slots proportional to observed frequency and training data, so languages with less web text receive fewer dedicated tokens and must be spelled out with many more subword pieces. Each extra token consumes KV cache memory and attention compute, turning Ukrainians measured 68 to 121% overhead versus English into roughly 1.7 to 2.2 times higher per query cost on the same model. Inference time compression such as LLM Lingua 2 recovers nearly half the length on retrieval workloads without retraining. Training a fresh byte-level BPE with a hard vocabulary cap narrows the gap from 2.22 times to 1.30 times. When you control the tokenizer and can afford one-time training cost, invest in balanced vocabulary allocation. Otherwise, apply lightweight compression at query time and accept the residual overhead. Romanization often increases rather than decreases token count on modern multilingual tokenizers. Before we go, regulators are continuing to examine how real tool use incidents slip past current agent safety testing suites. That wraps up today's AI briefing. Share this with a developer or builder who wants to stay current. Subscribe wherever you listen. See you tomorrow. And if you'd rather watch than listen, find us on YouTube at Nera Network. Links in the show notes. Quick tip from the network. Try the Do Positive pod next. Good news in science and tech, plus one concrete action you can take. Every Nera Network show is free at neranetwork.com. The age of AI puts real builders on the phone with an AI host. Apply at neranetwork.com. Age of AI apply. This episode used AI voice synthesis of my voice. Editorial selection and analysis are my own.